Hello, fifth graders. So today we are going to begin our very first lesson. So this lesson is topic 1-1 in our workbook, and it's called Patterns with Exponents and Powers of 10. So to start off, we're going to look at this number 1,000. And it says, what is another way to write this number using only multiplication and the number 10? So looking at this number 1,000, how can we represent 1,000 just by using the number 10? Well, if you think about it, the number 1,000, by using multiplication and the number 10, we can represent it by going 10 times 10 times 10. 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 10 is 1,000. All right? So this number, written just as a number form, we know this as standard form. All right? So in this box on your notes page, I want you guys to double click on this box and type in standard form. Okay, whenever we just have a number written out in number form, it's called standard form. Now, in fourth grade, I know you mentioned when things are stretched out and expanded, showing that multiplication, okay? That type of form is called expanded form because it's stretched out wide. So in this box right here, under your 10 times 10 times 10, I want you to write expanded form. All right, and then lastly, we're going to get to this last form. But before I get to that, okay, I want to look at this pirate and this parrot. It seems a little strange that on a math page, you would see a picture of a pirate and a parrot, okay? But if you notice, the parrot is sitting on the pirate's shoulder. And it looks very similar to this image right here, okay? So I want you to think of this 10 as the pirate, okay? And this 5 as the parrot, okay? They look very similar. If you notice, it looks like the 5 is almost sitting on the shoulder of the 10, okay? So let's look at this parrot, okay? The parrot is saying, multiply yourself by yourself as many times as I say. It's a very, very bossy parrot, okay? It bosses that parrot around constantly. So, but we use that saying in order to solve this, okay? So this 10 with this little number 5, we're saying multiply, okay? We're saying multiply yourself by yourself as many times as this exponent says, okay? Now, I just called this number 5 an exponent, and that's what we call that little number at the tiny corner, almost like that little parrot sitting on the 10 shoulder. This 5 is called an exponent. So in this blank space right here, we can write exponent. All right? And then this 10 right here is at the bottom, okay? So what do you think another word for bottom is? Well, again, this 5, this parrot, just like this parrot sitting on the shoulder, that 5 is sitting on the shoulder of this 10. So it's an exponent. This 10 is at the bottom. We call that a base. Okay, so let's look at that bigger. Okay, this 10 is called the base. This 5 is called the exponent, okay? So let's look at that one more time. We're saying for this 10, okay, we're saying multiply yourself. Okay, so let's look at this again. The parrot, this 5, is saying multiply yourself by yourself as many times as I say. Okay, so basically what that means, let me get another piece of paper out here. Right here. All right. Basically what that's saying, so let's get that 10 to the power of 5. So 10 to the power of 5. So it's saying multiply yourself by yourself as many times as I say. Okay, so 10 to the power of 5. That's how we say that, because this is being raised. This 10 is being raised to a power. So we say 10 to the power of 5. So this is the same thing as saying, again, multiply yourself by yourself as many times as this exponent tells us. So we're multiplying 10 by itself. How many times? If this exponent is a 5, how many times are we multiplying 10 by itself? We're multiplying 10 by itself 5 times. Ran out of room a little bit at the end. Okay, so 10 to the power of 5 is the same thing as saying 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Okay, I want to go over and make this really clear that 10 to the power of 5 does not equal 50. We never multiply 10 times 5. We never multiply the base times the exponent. Remember, this exponent, okay, always tells us exactly what we need to do to the base. So in this case, it says multiply yourself by yourself as many times as I say. Okay, so let's look back at this worksheet. So in this example, we went over standard form, expanded, stretched out, and then we went over how many times. Okay, we want to write an exponent in this box right here. So how many times do we see 10 being multiplied by itself? Well, in this example, we see 10 being multiplied by itself 3 times. So in this box in your notes, you're going to write a 3. Okay, so we have standard form when it's written as a number, expanded form when it's written stretched out, okay, showing the multiplication, and then this has an exponent. Okay, so this would be exponential form. Okay, and make sure when you're typing these in your notes, okay, double click each box. And once you double click, it will show up in a red font and you'll be able to type in whatever you need to type in, exactly what my notes are saying. So standard, expanded, exponential. Okay, so let's do some practice right now. So this problem now, it says 3 times 10 to the power of 3. Okay, so first it says we want to break it apart. So we're first going to focus on this 10 to the power of 3. So how will we write 10 to the power of 3 in expanded form? Well, we have a little hint. We already know 10 to the power of 3 is 10 times 10 times 10. So we actually already know that. Remember, we're multiplying that 10 by itself 3 times. So this problem broken up is really 3 times 10 times 10 times 10. Okay? And now we know what 10 times 10 times 10 is. It's really just 1,000. So 3 times 1,000 is what? 3,000. So 3 times 10 to the power of 3 equals 3,000. Okay, so you can put those in your notes. The next one is 5 times 10 to the power of 2. So again, break it apart. It's 5 times, 10 to the power of 2. Multiply yourself by yourself as many times as this exponent says. So we're multiplying 10 by itself twice. So we write it twice. 10 times 10. We know 10 times 10 is 100. So 5 times 100 is 500. And then lastly, 7 times 10 to the power of 5. So it's 7. If we break it apart, 10 to the power of 5, okay? We're writing 10, we're multiplying 10 by itself 5 times because the exponent tells us. So 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 10 is 1,000. Okay, so we keep doing that. And a little trick too, guys, if you're multiplying just with zeros, multiply all the other numbers, is just a 1, and then add 5 zeros. So we get 100,000, and we get 7 times 100,000 is 700,000. Okay? So let's real quick just go over this. So exponents are those little numbers like that parrot sitting on the shoulder of the pirate. Okay? The base is at the bottom. Okay? The job of the exponent, is to tell the base, multiply yourself by yourself as many times as this exponent says. Okay? So we have standard form, we have expanded form, stretched out, and then we have exponential form with the exponent. Okay? And if you notice a pattern, this 3 in the exponent, how many 10s do we have stretched out in expanded form? We have 3. How many zeros do we have in 1,000? We have 3. So you notice a pattern. There's 3 zeros, 3 sets of 10, and there's an exponent of 3. Okay? So that's a little pattern you can notice as well. So this is all about exponents. So the Google form that is going to be attached, okay, to this Edpuzzle is going to ask you a few more questions about exponents to get you to practice a little bit. All right? So please make sure that you took down these notes, okay, on your digital interactive notebook. Okay? So everyone should have a digital copy of their interactive notebook. So make sure you can type out all of these things. I gave you more than enough room on the digital copy that you can double click each square and you can type in any notes that you need to. Okay, and then at the very end of the topic, you'll have all of your notes for this topic so you can stay organized for topic 1.